how do you answer the president's argument that the economy is getting better in a general election campaign if you yourself are saying that it's getting better?
Well, of course it's getting better. The economy always gets better after a recession. There's always a recovery. There's never been a time anywhere in the world where an economy has never recovered. The question is, has it recovered by virtue of something the president's done, or has he delayed the recovery and made it more painful?
That was back in January in Des Moines, Iowa, the Iowa caucuses, and there was a lot of hay made of Mitt Romney's response there. Of course, the economy is getting better. Well, I knew this would happen in October of a presidential election, that we'd start to see these numbers that are meaningless when you really dig into them, like the 7.8% number. I followed on with this question. Isn't it a hard argument to make if you're saying he inherited this recession and he took a bunch of steps to try to turn the economy around and now we're seeing some more jobs, but vote against him anyway? Isn't that a hard argument to make? Is that a stark enough contrast?
Well, if you got a better one, Laura, it just happens to be the truth.
Well, I think from that point on, Romney has refined his argument. And we have to look at the situation as it is today with the numbers that are out today and with the spin that's out there today. And today, the news is Obama's winning. Not winning because he won the debate, but winning because this number is down. Joining us now, the man who cuts through the spin on the No Spin Zone, of course, every night, 8 p.m. FNC, Bill O'Reilly, the host of that number one show for, 47 years. And his book, Killing Lincoln, of course, one of the biggest bestsellers of the last several years in the United States, nonfiction. And now his new book, destined, of course, again to be a massive bestseller, called Killing Kennedy, The End of Camelot. And it just was released this week, and Bill O'Reilly joins us now. Bill, how are you, sir?
All right, Laura, thanks for having me in, as always.
It's great to talk to you, and we're going to dig deep into the book, but I have to get your reaction to this Labor Department number that came out today. Now we find out that a lot of these jobs are part-time jobs, still a historically high level of people in the United States not participating at all in the labor force. Jack Welch tweeted out that this is phony baloney, and these numbers are manipulated to help a president who had one of the worst debate performances in modern television history, given his record of being such a great communicator. Your reaction?
Well, I don't know whether the unemployment rate at 7.8% is a victory for the president. Certainly he's going to spin it that way, and, the Democratic Party will. It doesn't concern me so much about what is going on paper. What I think the key is that American workers are in a terrible position because there aren't enough jobs, so therefore the competition for what's out there drives salaries down. And that's, if I were Mitt Romney, that's where I would be going. And he did do that in the debate a little bit. When you have an economy that is this fragile, this fearful, then the employer, the people who hire, they can say, take it or leave it. We'll pay you this. You don't like it. We know we can fill the job with somebody else. So whether it's 7.8, 8.1, that doesn't really concern me. What concerns me is that American workers are losing buying power. And in the last, 5 years, average per capita take-home pay down $4,000. I mean, that's crazy. Look at gas prices. Look at taxes. Look at insurance premiums on health. And everybody's got to pay that. And your salary's going down? That's the real key. So if Mitt Romney wants to keep the pressure on the president, he doesn't even engage in this 7.8 versus 8.1 or 8.2. He says, look, the folks can't make any money because there are so few jobs around that they're driving pay down, and that's the key.
Oh, okay. So gas prices, food prices skyrocketing. The dollar does not go as far, even if you're saving more money because you don't know where else to put it. You're saving money, you're spending it, and it's not going as far as it would in a robust economy with a real recovery.
Yeah, and say you do a good job, and you go to your boss and you say, I'd like to have a 10% raise. The guy's going to look at you and say, are you kidding me? I'm not going to give you that. And if you don't like it, I know I can replace you. And unless you're a superstar, that's what you're going to have to take very, very little, because of the climate favors the employer in this kind of an atmosphere. If Romney runs with that, that could be huge for him, because there is no answer. Barack Obama has no answer for that. Take-home pay is down, and expenses are up under his administration, period.
Yeah, in my view, I think liberals in many ways have given up on economic growth, Bill. I mean, I think for them, the lowered expectations game works well, right? Because then they don't have to be held accountable for anemic economic growth. And then they can also say, look, since things are different, it's a new normal of very, very slow growth, we have to redistribute what's left for those people who've been left out. I think that the idea that liberalism is going to sell economic growth, that's over. I think it's a new normal they're trying to cook for the American people, and just get used to life this way.
Well, that's one of the things I'm going to hit Stewart with on Saturday night.
Yeah, tell us. Give us a preview. We're dying to hear this.
I'm going to say to Stewart, look, what's more important to you? Social justice, which is what you're talking about, redistribution of income to people who don't have very much, or a robust economy? What's more important? And if you're a true liberal, a doctrinaire liberal, you're going to say social justice. We would rather have, a middling to poor economy for everybody and a guaranteed economic outcome for people who don't have any money. That's what they want. And you can see it. You can see it in Greece and Spain and Italy and, all of these countries that are telling the folks, hey, don't worry about it. You don't cut it in the marketplace, we'll take care of you. And in a country of 320 million people, the United States, there's just not enough dollars. You can't find them. They don't exist. You can't do it. It's impossible. Now, I'm going to try to get that into Jon Stewart's brain. I'm going to try to convince him.
Well, Bill, what I'd like to know from him is, why does he think this is going to work in the United States when it was tried and it was the liberal dream throughout Europe, in Spain and France, Portugal, Italy, where we're now seeing in the United States, a lower birth rate, and we're seeing companies flee those jurisdictions because of high tax rates. So the entire system is collapsing on itself. So how do they make the case for this working here when the experiment is played out in Europe with disastrous results?
Well, in a few small countries in Europe, Sweden, Holland, they have been able to do the cradle and grave thing, and they haven't gone bankrupt. But there are only 9 million people in Sweden.
Yeah, they have no military. Their military is a small fraction of what ours is.
Winter, all right, because it's too cold, too much snow. You don't see them for 6 months of the year.
Yeah, the igloo life is easier to lead.
320 million people. And if 20% of them are slackers, and that's the number I put, not 47%, as Mitt Romney said, I put the slacker number at about 20%, 1 out of 5. All right? And you're going to guarantee them health insurance and housing and food and unemployment and all of this. There is not enough money. And so if President Obama is reelected, the debt projection after another 4 years is $20 trillion. And what's that going to cause? That's going to cause the dollar to be worth far less than it is today. And it's not strong today.
Market manipulation. So, Reagan warned about it in 1980.
I don't know how I'm going to do this to Stewart. I'm going to speak very slowly to him. Mm-hmm. I'm going to pronounce each word. I have cards made. Illustrations.
Did you spend more time preparing, do you think, for this debate than Barack Obama spent preparing for the Romney debate?
I mean, you see, I'm not buying that Barack Obama came in there and didn't know anything. I'm not buying all of that. I know.
What debate were you watching? What debate were you watching? It was a disaster.
Huh?
That was a disaster. What debate were you watching? He wasn't prepared.
I'm not buying that he came in hungover and didn't do his homework, and I'm not buying any of that. I don't know what happened. I don't know why he didn't bring up.
He has a bad record. That's what happened.
I just don't know.
It's because he has to defend what happened during his 4 years. Everyone thinks, well, how do you defend that? It's like if you were getting 40,000 people a night watching The Factor, and you had to go on and talk about what your great ratings were. That would be a hard case to make. That would be like the folks at CNN.
You just don't even address it, though. What do you think he's been doing for the past year? All he says is, I created 10 million jobs. In my newspaper column today, I said, yeah, they must be invisible because they ain't showing up on the stat sheet.
No.
But that's what he does.
Yeah, well, just basically.
I created 10 million jobs.
Hey,
how many times have you heard him say that?
Hey, Bill, by the way, I didn't even realize, I don't think, that killing Lincoln was already being made into a film. I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, Ridley Scott.
Phenomenal. How did I miss this?
Huge.
Huge.
It's going to be on National Geographic Discovery. And you know who the anchor and the host of it is?
You.
Tom Hanks, your buddy.
Oh, my God.
Tom Hanks, because he's a big history guy, so he's fronting it. And that should be on President's Day. And then it looks like Killing Kennedy. And by the way, I want to thank everybody. Killing Kennedy, first 2 days, almost 200,000 sold. And Laura knows, she writes books.
Oh, my God, that's
impossible. Huge. Nonfiction? Unless I had Harry Potter on the cover, that's almost impossible. So, it's just unbelievable. And that'll be made into a movie as well.
That's amazing. Well, let's talk. Give me a teaser on the book. So people who are listening, and so many people are going to either have bought it or going to buy it.
Was assassinated, Laura? Were you too little, or where were you?
Yeah, I was. It was. I don't have a memory of that. Let's just put that. Okay. Let's just put it out there.
Everybody, I guess, over the age of 45, 50, in that range, they know where they were. They know what the circumstance was. And certainly that was the case, and that's how I opened the book, where I was and when I heard it. And for all of those years, I've wanted to know exactly how John F. Kennedy was assassinated. I just wanted to know, because it's so personal. And my maternal grandmother was named Winifred Kennedy. All right, so there's Kennedys in my family. And I set out to say, no BS, you know me, here's what happened. Here's how he was killed. Here's what Oswald did. Here's how he did it. Here's how it happened. But along with that, the same technique we used with killing Lincoln, we tell you all about JFK. The good stuff, the bad stuff. And I mean everything. Marilyn Monroe, Sam Giancana, LBJ, Jackie, Aristotle Onassis, the whole soup to nuts. So when you finish killing Kennedy, you will know how JFK lived and how he died. And that's, I think that's worthy.
Have you've been to the bank building in Dallas, right? You've been there.
I worked as a reporter in Dallas for 2 years. So I know the town and I know the case.
It's eerie just to go. When you go up and you see the exhibit and you look out the window that Oswald looked out of, and it's eerie to this day because it all looks the same. That whole area, the grassy knoll, it's such an iconic vision.
You can picture it, and it's a small area. And we put you there in Kennedy. I mean, in the book, we put you right. The most harrowing part of the book is inside the limousine when Oswald puts 2 rounds within 3.5 seconds in that car. Every second, we tell you what happened, who said what, where the bullets went, what the damage was. It's just harrowing. And Martin Dugard and I, we're able to reconstruct exactly what happened so that the reader sees it vividly.
Hey, Bill, are you doing Killing McKinley?
My next book is going to knock the barn doors off. We're going to announce it shortly before Christmas. It's going to be the most controversial book probably ever written, ever.
Killing CNN, huh? That's
You know,
I'm just
so
teasing you. So that's coming out. You're announcing it in December.
Yes, the next one in the series, the historical series. You know, I'm really happy because kids are reading these books. You know that. We're getting everybody reignited into history, and boy, I'm real pleased to do that.
No, it's phenomenal, and you do so much for the troops and so much for just great causes.
Well, thank you, and I'm glad you mentioned that because this Rumble with Stewart is a charitable enterprise, and people can go to rumble2012.com and sign up for it on Saturday. You don't have to watch it on Saturday if you don't want to. You can watch it anytime you want.
Anytime you
want. It's only $5, $4.95. So
make sure when he starts.
A lot of the money is going to go to help the troops and the families.
When he starts to mug to the camera, make those faces that he always does. You have to have a line for that.
I have one of those big super soakers. Those big super soaker things.
You just need a little pistol. He's a little man. You just need a little tiny water pistol. That's all you need. You don't need the super soaker. That's for you since you're like 6'6", so you don't need the big one for him. Bill O'Reilly, congratulations on the book and congratulations on this massive success of this series, and we really, really appreciate it. And thanks for letting me sit in for you once in a while.
Have a great weekend. See you.
All right.
Bye.
We'll talk to you soon.